Oh, shit. Ow. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of 302 Birds Unlimited. Not a better way to start the episode than banging your head on the wall, because that's what this is going to do for you today with our TikTok guest. Jawnski, the man, the myth, the legend. He resonates with Philly sports fans. He resonates with the Philly sports culture. He does it all. 400,000 followers on TikTok. How are you doing today, sir?
Dude, I'm great. I'm happy to be here at the 302 Birds studio.
It's awesome to have you here. If you guys don't know, Jawnski is riding a monster empire on TikTok right now, creating all kinds of content that not only Philadelphia sports fans can resonate with, but Philadelphia people who resonate with the culture. So, Jawnski, kicking off with our first question, what started the whole Jawnski persona? Where'd you get the idea for this?
In the beginning, like, the keys to all of it were really, one, my wife, my friend, the people around me, and I just had like a few people believe in me that like knew like I was funny, or I just had interesting takes on things, or that I was just really that willing to not work a job, that I would make videos. Like, that's like how bad I didn't want that life. And, you know, my mental health was just in disarray. And, you know, I had a couple videos go off, and I was starting to make money from just like the videos getting viewed. And in very Northeast Philly fashion, I sat down with my mother, my stepfather, Poppy, and my wife, and in an Applebee's on $1 margarita day, and we got hammered, and I told them all I was quitting my job. And you know, obviously my wife panicked because we have at that point two babies and one on the way. And she's like, you can't, we just like need the security. And I just told her I couldn't do it anymore. It took a couple more weeks after that to be like we had to like obviously formulate a plan. And when we were in the hospital having my son Carter, I had the video go off where we decided his name, whether based on Jason Kelsey would sign my baby or not. And so we ended up naming him Carter Kelsey. And once had the baby, we're sitting there, she's holding the baby, and she was like, just do it. Just be happy.
How have you dealt with some of the haters on all these platforms? Because there are definitely a lot of them, especially when you wear this hat.
The hate stuff, like, really just, it doesn't get to me, literally at all. Because there is, I promise you, and like I'm quoting a comedian here, but there's nothing that you could say about me that I haven't said 6 inches from the mirror. And I didn't make my face look like a detention desk with the thought that people were going to be really comfortable around me and like me. Yeah. So it's something that like I never considered, and I'm a COD lobby kid, you know, like I will just destroy you in the comments. Like you guys have seen on the page, like in the last 3 months, you know, the haters, you know what I mean? I got a politician pretty much taken out of office, a tattooer fired, and all because they want to play internet games with me. You know what I mean? And, you know, just saying, like, I don't play to get even. I play to win.
Have you ever had a hater take it too far? Like anything in real life, or anybody do anything crazy, like ever show up off of your persona online?
No,
or see anybody in person?
I've never had anyone take it too far. Like, I feel like, you know, like, the tattoos on my face are like, you know, like a spider's colors, you know what I mean? Like people usually do like social distance themselves from you, and like way before it was cool. Yeah. And but when I was just in South Philly at the Crossing Broad Field Day, I was standing outside of the bar on the other side of the sidewalk, and some guy was like, "Yo, Jawnski, you're the TikTok guy." And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I hate your fucking videos." I was like, "Thanks."
That's the most Jawnski thing to say.
There's the most South Philly interaction, especially because I'm not from South Philly. I'm from the Northeast.
Yeah.
So like, I don't like. There is never a reason for me to stand in between Geno's and Pat's, like, because I think they're both garbage. And Steve Steaks all the way.
Hey, I love Steve's. I'm down with that. Good answer.
Best cheesesteak in Philly. But, you know, that's like, it's like, that's I love those interactions. You know what I mean? Because, like, I see content creators online, like, will be out in public and get shit from somebody, and I'm like, you must just not be from where I'm from, because, like, this is, like, you know what I mean, walking to Wawa, and, like, getting coffee in the morning, yeah, what's up, go fuck yourself, yeah, see you later, get out of my way, like, you know what I mean, like, that does nothing for me, you know what I mean?
Well, going off of that, too, bringing up Crossing Broads Field Day, I saw you're getting hammered with Garrett Stubbs. How was that interaction? What was Garrett Stubbs like, the whole Jawnski Stubbs interaction?
Dude, it was awesome. So I got to hang out with Stubbs the most when everyone else stupidly ran the mile, right? Everyone, like, it was the last leg of the competition. So how the competition went, let me give you some context. So it started with a javelin toss. I got cheated. So there was cones, right? So the same way the combine does it. And it was just a Nerf football, and it was just a long throw, right? They all threw it, far, but to the left, out of the cones. I threw it 130 feet dead down the middle, and I lost. I didn't understand it. I thought, I thought we were playing chess, not checkers. But anyway, so then the second event was the balloon stomp, and I won that event. So what it was is you had to tie a balloon to your ankle like a house arrest bracelet, which I'm used to. Clearly. Look at me. And you had to stomp the balloon off the back of the other people's feet. And it was all influencers from Philly. No Shorts was there. Crossing Broad was there. Matt Peoples was there. Check Matt Peoples out. He's the best. He's hilarious. So all these cones in a circle, and then all 6 of us have the balloon on the back of our foot, right? And in that moment immediately, first of all, there's a little bit of psychology there, right? Because there's 6 people in the circle. I'm the only guy with a tattoo on his face. 100% I'm the last person they're going for, right? And I seen that immediately, but then they also noticed that, is that they were all going at each other and no one was going at me really, and then they tried to gang up on me. What I learned is not one of them have any footwork, not even within a mile radius of any of them, because they were just trying to jump and stomp on each other's balloons. I was just watching their feet. The whole time. And then it ended up with a showdown between me and No Shorts. Shout out to No Shorts. And I realized before from another balloon, I also had the most balloons popped. Just want to point that out. And that if you tip the balloon with your foot, it'll pop off the grass because the balloons were really weak. And so when he went to step around me, all I did was bounce his balloon and it popped off the grass. And I won. And that was in front of Garrett Stubbs, which is probably one of the coolest moments of my life.
And how was Stubby?
He's a schmedium. I definitely didn't expect that. But he is, I don't know where he's from, like in the world, but he is as Philly as it gets. That mullet and mustache are as dirty as I've ever seen them. And
majestic.
It's majestic though. Like, at 100%, like, he flies by on an e-bike, he's a guy from Fishtown. You know what I mean? Like, throw a flannel on that guy, you would never even know who he was. And he was cool, though. I got to pound some Miller Lights out front of Garage and Passyunk with him. And what's crazy is 5 days before, I had no idea I was going to be doing that. That's like, I'm really that, like, one unemployed friend on a Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like, just at any given time, I'm just, like, getting drunk with Stubbs.
But that's the beautiful part, though, about Philly and our athletes is they go out and they give people these interactions, these fans like us who have been fans our whole life, and they're cool about it. And, man, that's when I saw the clip of you and him, I was like, this is awesome because this is like one of Philly's best TikTokers, one of Philly's best athletes. I know Garrett Stubbs gets a bad rap from a lot of people, but I think he's a great locker room guy, and that's why they keep around. Like that fight the other night, he's the like 4th guy on the field being all the way back in the bench, and you just love to see that with somebody like Stubby. But when I saw the two of you guys together, it was great. So going off of that, as a Philadelphia content creator, you get access into these events that not a lot of people get. Have you had a most memorable interaction with any athlete or fan or event that you've been to?
I would say the most memorable was not in Philadelphia. That like stemmed just from the content stuff. The most memorable event was I was at Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev in Newark. I got sent there, and
I know you're a big UFC guy.
Yeah, I love UFC as much as I love the Eagles, and I've been a martial arts fan my whole life. And that was crazy because UFC is not quite like any other sport. So UFC is a super rich people event because the tickets are crazy. So when I was there was just so many rich and like famous people walking around and like athletes, and there was a bunch of athletes from Philly walking around, and like I didn't really approach anybody because that's just not my thing. And like because once I had like one big boom once where I hit like 100,000 more followers in like 48 hours, and within like 72 hours I got recognized, and like one of those times I was like eating, but that was a wild experience. I got to talk to a couple fighters, and I hung out for a couple minutes with Moses the Jeweler from TikTok.
Yeah.
Really good guy. So that was different, but like with Moses, like he walked up, like I yelled for him like down the street, and he walked like 3 blocks back to talk to me, and then like stood there and talked to me for a while. It was pretty cool. So
that is nice.
It's cool to see people that you see on the app, like, and I may not interact with them because they're not from the city. Like I see a lot of content creators from the city, obviously, you know what I mean? Like that's how we met, and that's how like I met the Crossing Broad guys, and I just recently met Malik Joe.
Yeah,
we met him together.
Malik,
yeah, you were there when I met him.
Yep.
Yeah, and that dude is funny.
Yeah.
That dude might be the funniest dude in Philadelphia. Underappreciated for sure.
And that's a great point you just made, is like the coolest part about it for me is like if I don't make any money from it, whatever, if I don't, get famous, whatever, I have a good fucking time doing it. And it's the people that I meet from doing it. Like I know of so many people that I didn't know before, like my best buddy KJ. Yeah. Would have never met him if we didn't start TikToking. He lives like all the way up. He actually lived right outside of St. Joe's, but we just would have never met, would have never connected. And that's like the coolest thing about that app is the people that it connects you with and the people that you meet, and you build those relationships with them. And like, they're just friendships that like, you're like, cool. Like I joke with my girlfriend Alyssa, I'm like, I have my Philly sports friends, and then I have my friends from home. And like, there's nothing against the two of them. Like I have friends from home that are Eagles fans, but my Philly sports friends, like they're dedicated. They're like every game, every tailgate. And it's like, it's a commitment. It's a vibe. So going off of that with this Jawnski persona and your TikTok career, how did you know that the Philly sports fan base specifically would resonate with your videos and the persona that you put on?
Because the base of like Philly sports fans, whether we like it or not, is white trash. Right?
Yes.
So like, and I'm like the white trash Thanos. You know what I mean? I got it all. I got the kids. I got the suspended driver's license. I got the face tattoos. You know what I mean? I've done every one of those things. You know what I mean? I'm like I don't know what I have left to accomplish for me not to be the king of Northeast Philly, but I'm pretty sure I'm it. Give me my crown.
Yeah, I hear you. But how did you know, like, Eagles fans or Phillies fans, like, when they see your videos in their feed, they see you getting upset about the team? Because that's a nice thing about your profile is it's not just culture, it's not just sports, it's a mix of the two. But when they see your videos hit specifically in the Philly sports fan base, how do they know that Jawnski rocks with Philly?
It's an either you have it or you don't. I like a lot of us grew up exactly the same. You know what I mean? I grew up in a Northeast Philly row home. My dad was a contractor and a track star. He ran out, you know what I mean? Everybody knows that, which is most of our stories, you know what I mean? And, like, I had as basic as, like, the Northeast Philly life experience, you know what I mean? Like, which is crazy because, like, when you start to travel, like, outside of Philadelphia, you realize how abnormal this city really is.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, this is, like, a whole nother planet.
People don't say hi to you in the elevator. It's weird. Like, when I used to live, I grew up my first 10 years in South Jersey, so it's not Philly, but it's similar vibe. People say hi to you in the elevator.
Yeah.
Not around here. And when you get out of certain parts of PA, same thing. It's weird.
Yeah, I talked about this on TikTok recently. Like, I went to Georgia and for a wedding, and like with Philly people, you know what I mean? It was like literally all Philly people at this wedding in Georgia. We got cowboy hats on and shit. It was pretty cool. But like I'm there, and like I don't like the politeness. Like, you know what I mean? That shit is too much for me. Yeah. Like, it was like 7:30 in the morning, and like I like had to drive 9 miles to get a coffee. And by the time I get there, I'm in the place getting a coffee, and the lady's like, "Have a good morning." Like, go fuck yourself. Don't tell me what to do. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get back to this dumb cabin people got me staying in, and like then as fast as I can get as close to Lincoln Financial Field as I can.
Yeah, there's like a realism to Philadelphia where you almost respect it with people, and it's like, all right, like, at least you're not going to be, there's a fakeness to the Southern sometimes. So I definitely get that. And you're right about that. Like people from the South, when we were down there too, they were really fake. And even just their slang and the way that they talk, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, because it doesn't, like, everyone's like, you just aren't used to hospitality. Like, no, it feels condescending.
Our hospitality is different, too.
Yeah, our hospitality, like, if I held the door for you, even if I told you to go fuck yourself, like, I held the door because I wanted to. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I may not like you anyway, but, like, whatever, that's your problem.
So TikTok can be a really tough space to break through. You kind of touched on this earlier with your first 10 days, you were saying, until you got 1 million views. But what moment, or was there a video that made you really realize, I guess it was that Joe Burrow video with your wife, that you realized, like, hey, like, this could be something that I could make money at, I could turn into a career, and people like listening to me talk on this platform?
No, so that's actually not the moment where I believed. That moment was where everybody else really believed. I believed to a degree, but, like, you know, like, I just struggle with that insecurity, right? Like, am I doing the right thing? I knew we were on, like, really onto something. Then, like, I started doing reaction videos, right, to different things going on. And, like, I had a lot, and still do have a lot of success with that. I've kind of altered it now into where I'm more, like, reporting on it instead of just reacting to it, because I really love the idea of taking an idea that everybody's talking about and framing it differently. But, like, I think there's a real complex challenge to that. But I knew I was on to something when I started getting cease and desist from celebrities. That was the moment that, like, I'm not going to say who it was, but what I will say is a certain person who does music and has been around for a really long time sued a couple people, or threatened to sue a couple people, when their videos popped off about it. If you figure out who the person is, you can find my video. Or if you go through my videos, you might be able to figure out who the person is. Or narrow it down to 2 people. Because I've talked about this publicly before, but I've never said who it was. And they narrow it down to 1 to 2 people.
So would you say, because I love them whenever I see your page, it's almost like you're getting ready to lay down that Philly ass whooping, or open up a can of Philly whoop ass when people talk. Like, you're sitting there waiting in the chat. You know what I mean? Like you said earlier, the COD lobby. You're waiting in the COD lobby, loading, getting ready to unload on this person and tell them in this video, like, the way it is. I agree with your videos 95%, 99% of the time. Obviously, you never agree with anybody 100%, but I love your videos. I resonate with them. Like, I connect with it. And whenever I see you loading up, I'm like, uh-oh, he's about to lay it on somebody. Yeah. But would you say your Stitch videos are, like, your most popular videos? Or, like, what works for you? Or what would you say is, like, the main brand of Jawnski for you? Like,
I would say, like, the most, like, widespread, like, what does best for me across the board, not just, like, here at home, like, here in Philly. I would say what does the best is probably the taking the news stories that people are talking about, and then, like, just kind of putting the funny spin on them.
Yeah,
and, like,
I love it.
Pointing things out that I think that people are just, like, blatantly missing. And I would say that does the best for me, and the clapbacks for sure.
The clapbacks are my favorite.
Yeah,
the clapback stitches when you're, like, loading. Sometimes when you put on the sunglasses, they really know that they're about to get laid into. At least your profile picture cracks me up with that. Like, that's like Philly. You know what I mean? And that's how it is.
Like, if you ever see a video, like, if you ever come to me online and then you see in your notifications, Jawnski mentioned you in a video, just know I didn't do that video unless I was absolutely prepared for war. And I have yet to have somebody even respond.
Wow.
So we've had 5 total clapbacks on the page, and I looked this up before I got here. 5 clapbacks that total, like, I think it's like 15 million views total. Woo! Right? And not one response. The only thing that happened is a politician sent injunctions to TikTok to get my video taken down, which is crazy because you're supposed to be protecting the Constitution and freedom of speech, but you're getting my free speech opinion of you deleted, taken off the internet. When I didn't even say anything untrue. All I did was repeat what you said.
Wow.
Because I've been doing this for a while, you know?
Because people don't like when it gets views and when people get a different idea about them, and that threatens people. And that's a shame that politician did that.
Well, with her, what happened was her video had like 200,000 views. And she was just saying a bunch of, just unnecessary, like, hateful stuff for no reason. I called her out on it. You know what I mean? Because like I love to have fun and I love to go do the clapbacks with willing participants. You know what I mean? But I don't bully people online.
But once you put yourself, like, for lack of a better term, you don't step in the kitchen like when there's heat or whatever they say. You know what I mean? Like when you're getting involved in this shit, the people are provoking you. And that's like, or they're putting it out there online for you to come at them. And that's why it's like, it's hilarious, in my opinion.
There will be comments where somebody will say something and people will literally comment, I wouldn't do that. And like, because they'll like, especially if it's like, you'll see like creators say things about me and like, I saw one, I decided not to, you know what I mean? Because like there was just no point for me, but like a guy hit me with the put the fries in the bag. And then like I looked at his page, he was attempting to do the same thing I was doing, except he had 4,000 followers, right? And like he posted a video, it was 14 minutes before he put that comment. So like my only thing I say to him is like, when you put my fries in the bag, make sure you put the sauce in there, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, like what are you talking about? It's the comment thing is like the section is just so hateful.
And are you saying he pinned your video like butthurt about it?
He commented on one of my videos telling me to put the fries in the bag, where 14 minutes ago he posted a video that at that point when I looked at it had 4 views in 14 minutes. Right, when my video in 28 minutes had like 11,000.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it's like I'm the one who's supposed to write something.
I saw Aaron Rodgers say something today, not to cut you off either, but he said something, and it's great advice. Don't get upset, and it took him however long to learn this. Don't take advice from people that you wouldn't care what their opinion is. You know what I mean? Like if you want to, or no, don't care about people's opinion that you wouldn't ask for advice from.
Right. Yeah, and it's right. Like I don't get caught up in that stuff. Sometimes I just like look at it for perspective.
Oh, you fuck with people. I love it. You don't care.
I always reply to comments because it's just like it's literally my funnest part of the job. You know what I mean? Is that I just get to like banter with these people and it keeps me creative. You know what I mean? If you can keep me on my toes to like where I'm just feel like I'm constantly just busting balls and talking shit, like that's where my videos, like when I have to like take time away from something and I'm not replying to comments, that's where I see I struggled the most with making content. But if you keep me sharp, like I'll pump 5 videos out a day and they'll all be at least half decent. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one thing about your brand that I resonate with too, and we try to do here is like we try to have like a certain level of, okay, we do the same thing as you, like you have a brand that you created, but it's not that deep about everything, you know what I mean? And that's what people like, because it's really not that deep. At the end of the day, we're all going to die one day, and it's just great to be here. And like that's why I think especially Philly people, because that's such a Philly mantra, and like attitude is like whatever, like you're going to take our jokes seriously? Fuck you. We didn't like you anyway. But I think you do such a good job like conveying that for our fan base too.
And the truth of the matter is, right, like I'm doing something I'm passionate about, right? I love to talk about like my family. I love to talk about the Eagles. I love to talk about UFC. I love to just talk about whatever I'm feeling. Like I think I did a really good job of just branding myself instead of branding myself in a certain place. And like, which is why I think like what separates like my like views and metrics from a lot of people is like I try to look at things at a bigger picture. So when people comment stuff like that and they're like, just put the fries in the bag, there might be a day that like I'm going to be putting fries in the bag, right? But like
we all might be one day,
exactly, right? And like I'm more susceptible. I got face tattoos, you know what I mean? Like I'm the first one at McDonald's looking for an application. But the point is like, for the last however and forever how long this goes on for, I got paid to do what I love. And, like, I get to stay home full time with my kids. Like, I don't miss a fucking moment. I don't miss nothing. A practice, a fucking written word on a piece of homework, nothing. So, like, yeah, maybe I will put the fries in the bag one day, but I will be fucking much happier when I get there.
Yeah, exactly. You have a big smile on your face. You'll be loving it or whatever you want to say. But there's something about that. Those people that you see that are older at McDonald's, that are content, that are patient, because like they've been through life. You know what I mean? Like you've done so many things, like just from the little bit that I've talked to you, you've been around the block. You know what I mean? You've seen a lot of shit. And people like that are usually the calm ones when shit hits the fan. And sometimes like people do say like condescending things, but at some point you can never shit on somebody for where they're at in life too. Number one, but number two, you're not doing that. You're living out your dream. You're getting paid to do it, and you're not missing a beat with your kids. And one thing I wanted to ask you, going off of that, so you've kind of touched on your TikTok. What made you to decide to homeschool your son? Because that's a big decision, but obviously something that a lot of parents, I think, would struggle with. So to any parents out there, too, would you give them any advice or anything?
So I decided to homeschool my son because he was a victim of violence. Right. My son was attacked by my son was attacked by a kid in the 5th grade with special needs, and my son was in kindergarten. He had 10 days left of kindergarten. It's not the kid's fault, right? The kid who did it, it is not their fault. Yeah. The problem is the underfunding of special needs programs in schools, and especially in public schools, and especially in the district I live in, Bristol Township, because those kids are not getting the care they need, and the people that are working for them are not getting paid the salaries they need to get qualified people. And as a result of that, somebody's negligence and lack of care and concern for their job and what their job description entailed allowed a kid who was supposed to have one-on-one contact with an aide at all times to get away from her and slam my son's head off a lunch table, knock 2 of his teeth out, bust his forehead open, and this all happened, at the end of my son's first year of school. So that's his picture, me and you and whoever, like, we had a pretty regular, like, what school is, you went there and you left at 2:30, 3 o'clock every day. You came home. One day, my son didn't get to do that. And forever, that's what he will remember, what his normal childhood experience is supposed to be like.
I'm so sorry, number one. Number two, you're right. Like, when we think of school, our first memories are usually, maybe not for some people good, but, like, it's not like that. It's not a place you fear going. It's not a place you're scared. Like, that's awful. And you're right. Shame on the school. Shame on the program for not having the resources to stop something like that. Because when you hear the age gap, too, I mean, that's awful.
And it's so much worse than that. Because these, like, a school district, a person cannot sue a school district unless there is 3 pretenses under sovereign immunity that the school decides you can sue them for. So, as of right now, my entire life has changed, right? My son is now being homeschooled because he is terrified to go back. I have to limit everything I do with work, right? Because I have to be there from him. I have to get extra help from family. Thank God that I have that kind of help. Like, what if I didn't have that kind of help? Yeah. And I was forced to have to send him back. Like, if I didn't have the resources to, one, either homeschool him or put him in private school, that I would have to send him back to that school. Like, I'm supposed to let him down?
Yeah, or make the kids scared to go to school every day. Like, what parent can sleep at night doing that? I don't blame you at all. Yeah, like, you can't be asked to parent. And you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, and sounds like the school district has done nothing.
No, yes, they are attempting essentially to wait us out to see if we'll give up. But they may have gotten lucky with other parents.
Yeah, you ain't giving up on Jawnski, not to cut you off. Good luck.
Bristol Township School District, you fucking rolled snake eyes with me. I it just so happened that I had a following. And I had to make a decision that day. Well, I did end up waiting a few days, but I had to make a decision the day I made that video about him that, like, I am going to risk my entire career to make sure that they do right by him. And, like, it's a tall order, but it's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. You're a great father for that, number one. Number two, I know you as a person, as a friend. You're a great friend. You're loyal, and I don't blame you for doing that. Like, I think any parent would, but props to you, too, for giving up on your career. Because you see, especially in this generation, not a lot of parents would put away what they got going on to make sure that their kid can live out their dream. And that's a whole level of maturity that some people will never even grasp, like even what I'm saying. And I know my mom did that, so props to her. But moreover to you, I know you've even said in some of your videos, I think in the past, like your son wants to get into streaming one day and you're trying to learn it so that you can teach him one day. And that's such a cool thing that you're doing as a father, to where you're putting this selflessness, like, and you're like, okay, it's not about me, it's about the next generation, and making sure that almost Jawnski 2.0, you know what I mean, is like the best version of himself.
It's Jawnski Jr.
Jawnski Jr. Sorry, I love it.
So there's 3 of them. There's Jawnski Jr., there's Mini Jawnski.
Okay.
So my middle child is the most like me. He is an absolute war criminal.
Twin?
Yeah, he is just the bad part of me all over the place. And then there's baby Jawnski.
Okay.
And but Jawnski Jr., my oldest, he like, you know, I seen that video. If you've ever seen a video where it's like where they're asking like parents, would they kill or die for their kid? Like, how do you even hesitate?
Yeah.
If you hesitate, don't have kids.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, it's, you know, like, the lengths that I would go for him, crazy. Like, stuff they don't even want to imagine. Like, so you better just do the right fucking thing. Because, like, I'm, like, when it comes to my kid, and it's the only time it's okay to be, I'm unreasonable.
And understandably so, like he said, I don't, think anything that you said is a wild take. And once again, shame on the school district for that, for putting your family through that too. Because seeing you get choked up about it, you never want to see your friend go through that. Like seeing what your family, you know what I mean, your wife, your other sons have gone through too. Like you don't need that at home, and
it changes everything. Because if you think about it, right, I'm homeschooling my oldest. My middle child is about to start school. What do we do with him?
Yeah,
please tell me. Please tell. Do I send because my options are send him to that school or homeschool him, and he never gets a chance at a social experience. So like this is a domino effect of all my children have to share this with my son. Like it's, but like the part of being a parent is like it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and with you too. I mean, being the awesome person you are, but also like the school fucked with the wrong person. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody has any idea, and I won't get into it too much more than that. But yeah, just do the right thing. Be a courteous person, especially for kids and stuff like that. I'm sorry, but so going into more of a pivotal topic or an upbeat topic. Eagles Super Bowl win, I know we talked about a little bit at the tailgate, such great memories with that. Besides the Eagles Super Bowl win, do you have like a greatest Philly sports memory in recent memory or of your life that you've had as a kid, anything?
My dad, not a sports fan. Not even. My dad liked like boxing, like Tyson fan, that kind of guy, like Ali fan, was like stuff like that. But my mom, diehard. My mom bleeds green, you know what I mean? And one thing me and my mom, like I always shared with her, like no matter how bad shit was, like the Birds play on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whatever. Like
well said.
Like with my mom, there was no choice. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like my mom, I promise you, will accept me for who I am, whatever. Doesn't matter. Like I've done some crazy shit. You know what I mean? And my mom has loved me unconditionally. I mean, she literally believed I was going to make silly videos on the internet and take care of my family. So like,
hey.
But if I came home anything other than an Eagles fan, I better catch the next train to whatever city that is and find parents that live there.
Well said.
And like that, like having that, like how could you not be an Eagles fan? And like our city is different, right? Like the moment that coin flips in the city, this whole city changed. Crime goes down, morale goes up. Like if you're one of those jerk-offs that become a Dallas Cowboys fan in Philadelphia, you did it because it was spiteful and you're a narcissist and a maniac. And please move.
Yeah, well said. I mean, Philadelphia Cowboys fans fucking suck. And they're the fakest worst people ever. They think that they're usually Lakers fans and Yankees fans along with it, and they suck. They have no personality. They definitely got invited to a lot of parties in high school, and they're just fucking weirdos.
Yeah, we'll enjoy your playoff highlights on VHS.
I love it, though. But yeah, well said about how with a parent, there's no choice. I love that. So going into another question as well about content creation, a lot of content creators deal with burnout. You've been consistent for such a long time. How do you stay ahead of that or not deal with burnout?
I think like something that would make anybody in our position like ahead of the game is like you got to treat it like a business, right? And businesses have days they're closed. And because it has to be that way, you have to have downtime. And I schedule days off because family is so important to me that no matter how this goes for me, this content career, my family will always get the lion's share of the time. And so I schedule time every day that as soon as that alarm goes off on my phone for 9 a.m. Monday, I'm recording. So there is no excuses. There is nothing. I record just continuously for 3 to 4 hours a day. With that, like, I've just created a schedule, but like, I don't work when the Eagles play. I don't work when my kids have something going on. I schedule at least 2 days a week for them where I am all theirs, right? We're going to play Fortnite. We're going to throw the ball in the backyard. We're going to go ride dirt bikes. Like, my 6-year-old only thinks it's cool because he thinks I know Logan Paul, which I told him I did. So Logan, if you're seeing this, don't make me a liar.
Hey, there you go. Logan Paul heard it here first. But that's a great answer, how your family kind of replenishes you. And I think at some point too, and you can kind of speak more on this, I know what you do is really reactive. I'm only in the sports realm, so I don't have all the other stuff too, where you react to everything. But do you have to have some stuff where it's just like, all right, like I'm closed today, whatever the shit, you know, of course there's some things now and then that it's like, all right, you know, for example, Trump gets shot in the ear.
That was my example.
Obviously got to make a video about that.
Yeah, I sprinted off of the dinner table.
Really?
Literally in the middle of a restaurant. Sprinted to the car. Because, like, if you're watching this and you want to be a content creator, popularity is not the key. Timeliness is the key. If you were the first person with a video about a major subject, you will be the first person to get traction and you will be the front of the train. As long as the front of the train isn't always the most important card on the train, but it is the front and it is the first one everyone sees, and that's half the battle.
That's very well said. That's something I'm still learning, especially with sports news and Instagram. I tell people, like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, you have a certain brand, of course, that you want to convey. Same thing with you, where, like, you're putting out your video. But it's also a benefit of just being the first one out. Like you said, you may not always be the most perfect, but that's such great advice to young people trying to start out. I don't think anybody's right about it, to be honest with you, man. I think everybody's learning it as we go, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just like you kind of alluded to earlier, reactive. Every time something happens, all of us are reacting. Yeah. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people have got to understand is you kind of hit on it earlier. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's one of the stereotypical comments. And I think a lot of people just need to have the mindset of, hey, let's do this together. Let's go together and we can make great things happen.
Yeah. Everyone wants to be, you know, big fish in the small pond. I just want to stay in the pond forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to chill right here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do stuff like this. Yeah. Like, I have no desire to be actually famous or getting stopped on the street. Nothing that. I have the desire to do what I love and have the time for the people I love. Besides the Dallas Cowboys, what NFL team does Jawnski hate the most? I think at this point, the Cowboys aren't even my least favorite team in the NFL. Being that they're just terrible. So, like, at this point, I just, like, until they make it to week 2 in the playoffs, like, I just don't care anymore. Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys have been absolutely dog shit. I will give them their flowers where they're due. They have, like, 2, maybe 3 first-round wins in the past decade, but they haven't been impressive wins, and they get the shit kicked out of them the next round. So anytime that they do anything, when they do something meaningful, like, then I'll waste my breath on them. I hate the 49ers way more. Great answer. I hate the 49ers. I hate the Vikings. I hate the Commanders. And, like, but that's, like, more of a bully thing because they just suck and will suck forever. They can't even have a real name. And, you know, but I'll just hate them because it's fun. What do you hate the most about Niners fans? Because I'm not going to lie, in the past 5 years, they've really started pissing us off as Eagles fans, right? Yeah, I mean, I just think, like, somehow we got to give them the Vikings treatment for it to stop. You know what I mean? We got to get that kid. You remember the kid from the clip with the Go Birds Vikings clip? Yeah, and that lady says, Go Birds! Go Birds! Go Birds! We got to get him outside of the Bosa family residence and just doing it relentlessly for hours. If that kid's watching this, I have $700 for you to go outside of the Bosa house. There you go. Yeah. Kid business opportunity. Kid maybe is a man now. Yeah. But hey, that's man money right there. So, and to terrorize Joey Bosa, if he's an Eagles fan, real Eagles fans would fucking do it for free. Yeah, travel's on you though. Travel is on you. Good way to put it. Maybe an Uber. What's your wildest or funniest
tailgate memory?
My first game at the link. So I only went to the vet, I think twice.
Okay.
Maybe I was young too.
Yeah, I get it.
And like, you know, my mom, single mom, 3 kids, she started working in the car industry. And one of the things about the car industry is you get a lot of free tickets. And my mom started getting tickets to the link. And like my core memory is my stepdad who passed away. I went to my first game at the link with him. It was an Eagles Chargers game. And like, just that he was a Chargers fan. He was from Jersey, and
God bless him.
Yeah, and yeah, like he was a Chargers Braves fan. He was.
Oh, God bless him.
He was the coolest. My mom would love for me to show that on camera. That's his initials right there. He was a Chargers, Braves, Mets, Knicks fan.
That is such an interesting mix.
It's
like, why didn't he just stick with New York?
He also had a real love for the Jets, too. Like, you know,
There,
like a deep
secretly,
yeah, it was there, yeah. Right before that, my dad is a contractor, right? And my dad was building houses over in Cinnaminson, New Jersey. And my dad did a little bit of work on T.O.'s house in Jersey because the guy that he was doing, like the developer he worked for, knew all them and was good friends with Jon Runyan. And, 2 weeks after I went to the Chargers game at the link, I got one of the coolest things my dad, and one of the only things my dad has ever done for me, was I got to go out to dinner with Jon Runyan.
Wow.
And he gave me a jersey, which my mom still has to this day, a signed Runyan jersey, which like no one has a Runyan jersey. You know what I mean? Like Jon Runyan.
69?
Yeah, 69, white 69 Runyan Reebok jersey. Yeah.
Making my mouth water over here.
Yeah, dude, it's like prized possession stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. Dude,
and what an awesome like parent too. Like a parent to be aware of that. Number one, shout out to your mom for raising you right.
Yeah.
And shout out to you for raising your kids right. It's something you're born into, but also like to be aware of that. Like I was showing Jawnski a jersey I have here, like of Tommy McDonald, and there's just something about like those family jerseys, you know what I mean? And the story that comes along with like it's priceless.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's something like that like piece of fabric is a time capsule for me. You know what I mean? Like of just like way different, much less complicated time. You know what I mean? And it's just like in that moment, the only thing I cared and loved was the Eagles, you know?
Yeah. Hey, go Birds, dude. Like I said, thank you to your parents and thank you to you for raising right. Thank you to my parents and all the Eagles fans out there who raised their kids right, because it is like something like you said it earlier, like on Sunday, it doesn't matter what you got going on. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're from. You're an Eagles fan. And that's how all Eagles fans are. Like, if you're at the link, if you're in green, like, you're in the bleeding green mafia. Like, it's a real thing, and it's awesome.
That's what I love about Philly. There's no half-hearted fans. You're either all in or you're all out. Like, we don't accept that shit. Like, if my girl has a friend who's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and, like, she asked if I can get her a ticket for the home game because she knows I'll be working at the home game. And yeah, I can get you a standing room ticket on the other side of the stadium, but like you're not going to sit next to me.
Yeah, what do you think I'm going to say? Yeah.
What are you going to do? Like, what happens when you cheer for Dak Prescott and somebody yeets you off the third tier? You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be my problem.
And I agree with them in a way.
Like, I don't have the insurance to cover that, and I'm not going to stop them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at an Eagles stadium, that's asking for trouble.
Yeah, no thanks. Love you, Tina, but no.
Go Birds. Fuck Dallas, wrapping that up. Thank you guys for tuning in to our second episode of 302 Birds. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also want to thank Nick's Pizza for sponsoring the video. If you guys haven't been there, check them out in Wilmington, Delaware today. The best Detroit-style pizza.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
No outro?
What do you mean, no outro?
Some fucking schmuck. I'm going to fucking gamble.
Obviously, just fucking with you guys there. Want to take a second to give Jawnski his flowers. Of course, Jawnski, thank you for joining me, man.
Of course.
One of the most stand-up guys I've met from social media thus far. For somebody that has 400,000 followers on TikTok, super humble, super polite, super easy to reach. I'm sure if you comment on one of his videos, you can get in the COD lobby, like he said earlier, and get to know him. But want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come out from Philly to Delaware today and hang out with us.
Of course, it was a pleasure.
Pleasure having you. Guys, be sure to give him a follow as well. Is it at Jawnski215?
At Jawnski215, TikTok, YouTube. Make sure you check out 302 Birds.
Thank you. And yeah, we'll be doing some more content with him, I'm sure, throughout the season, tailgating. So stay tuned for that. And that's all we got. We're out of here for real this time.
Peace.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.